Sometimes these MAGAs make posts that are just so shocking. I guess nothing should shock us, but I have to double, triple, quadruple check sometimes. Like, did they really just post that? And the answer often inevitably is yes. So Marjorie Taylor Greene posted the following. She writes, "If Democrats are going to play the pardon game, then we should do the same thing. Trump can just blanket pardon all of us too, because remember, Marjorie Taylor Greene's gotten into a few things. Now, she's writing this after President Biden announced that he was pardoning Hunter Biden in connection with checking a box on a gun form in like 2018, saying he wasn't under the influence of drugs at the time, which no one's ever been charged with other than Hunter. And Hunter was also charged criminally, the felony, for paying his taxes late, which is usually a civil penalty for most people. But Marjorie Taylor Greene asking Donald Trump for a blanket pardon. Now, when you find yourself agreeing with MAGA extremist Laura Loomer on things, you know you've entered the twilight zone. So Laura Loomer responds mocking Marjorie Taylor Greene because they got beef. Laura Loomer goes, "Just in, Marjorie Taylor Greene admits she has done something that would make her need a pardon." Come on, Laura Loomer, don't make me ever agree with you on things. Now let's remember what Marjorie Taylor Greene was doing at or around the time of the insurrection. Remember, we saw her text messages at the January 6th committee hearings, like messages like this. "Hey, I need to talk with you about a plan we are developing on how to vote on the Electoral College votes on January 6th. I need a senator, and I think this is a major help for you to win on the 5th. Talking to Kelly Loeffler. And then she sends this to Kelly Loeffler, who, by the way, I thought was going to be the agricultural pick by Donald Trump, but wasn't. "Hi, Kelly. I have organized a meeting with Trump, his legal team, and members of Electoral College votes for Joe Biden in several key states on January 6th. It's tomorrow at 2. Can you come to the White House? It's an informal meeting and planning session, December 20th, 2020 at 6:23 p.m. Or how about this one? From Sunday, January 17th, 2021. In our private chat with only members, several are saying the only way to save our republic for Trump is for Trump to call martial law. I don't know on those things. I just wanted you to tell him." She's sending this to Mark Meadows, saying that Trump should declare martial law. "I just wanted you to tell him. They stole this election, we all know. They will destroy our country next. Please tell him to declassify as much as possible so we can go after Biden and anyone else right there." And look, I think it's important that we make these links here, right? President Yoon of South Korea, remember his declaration of martial law, which Parliament quickly overruled, but President Yoon wanted to, and he did, put the military in the streets, wanted to shut down the country and basically turn it into a dictatorship. The permission structure to do things like that, and for people with dictator leanings, in the past they wouldn't try it, but it's stuff like this that gives people a permission structure. And let me just be very clear, Midas Mighty. If Donald Trump were to ever declare martial law here in the United States, let me be very clear. We will be marching to Washington, D.C. immediately. We will not back down. It will not scare us. We will be there together. If you want to join us, we will be there on the front lines. We will not back down. We'll not listen to a ridiculous fake martial law order. They can lock me up or do whatever. We will not back down. Anyway, I digress. There's so many people who are saying too, well, now that it's a ridiculous argument. There's so many bad takes about President Biden pardoning his son Hunter, which I think it was the right move to make. That's just me. But I see this. I hear these bad takes saying, well, now Donald Trump can pardon the January 6th insurrectionists. Trump was gonna do that anyway. He said it at all of his events. Pardoning the insurrectionists. The January 6th, he called them the hostages. I'm pardoning the hostages, right? Then in Donald Trump's post about Hunter Biden being pardoned, he's like, so why don't you pardon the January 6th hostages, Joe? Okay, how is that related? You have a non-violent offender in Hunter Biden who's accepted responsibility for his actions. for charges that no one else has been charged with ever in a politically motivated case that no one's been charged with by a Republican special counsel. And might I add, a judge you appointed, Donald, Judge Eileen Cannon, made a ruling in your case where you stole nuclear secrets. She ruled that special counsels don't even exist. So, for you, special counsels don't exist, but for Hunter, they apparently do exist, and Republican special counsels can prosecute people anyway. But I digress. But here's a video, March 9th, 2024. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene saying how excited she is for Donald Trump to pardon and free the January 6th insurrectionists. So, notice when she uses the language, Trump can just blanket pardon all of us too. She puts herself with that crew. Here, play this clip.
Say too, you mentioned January 6th. I want to thank you for being a supporter of those who are in prison and jail, because you've visited them. You let them know that they have help on the outside, because I cannot imagine not just being one of them, but also a family member of them when their hands are tied and they know that their loved ones should not be there. They did nothing wrong, and you have advocated for them. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, they're still being arrested. It's an average of one a day. Something that won't change until we get President Trump back in office. So this is another reason for Georgia to get out and vote for Trump.
Yes. Free the January 6ers. Marjorie, so good.
Now here's Marjorie Taylor Greene back on March 4th, 2024, saying that it's an outrage that the insurrectionist went to jail. Play this clip.
Let's face it, after a night with drinks, I don't bounce back the next day like I used to. Hey, I gotta be honest with myself, right? It feels like I have to choose between having a great night or a great next day. That is until I found pre-alcohol. ZBiotic's pre-alcohol probiotic drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to make ZBiotics your first drink of the night, drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow. Every time I have pre-alcohol before drinks, I notice a difference the next day. For example, after a fun night out with friends at like a local bar or wherever we go, I could still get up the next morning and hit the gym. And I'll admit, I was skeptical at first, but I tried it at a dinner party with some friends. The next morning, I felt great, ready to tackle the day, ready to do more videos here at the MeidasTouch Network. I kept hearing about pre-alcohol and wondered what it was actually like. Now that I've tried it, I get the hype. Plus, with their GMO technology, ZBiotics is continuing to create probiotics that tackle the challenges of modern living. Go to zbiotics.com/Meidas to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use code Meidas at checkout. ZBiotics is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee, so if you are unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/Meidas and use that code Meidas. It's MEIDAS at checkout for 15% off.
We need Republicans that will not waver. Here we are. Here's a man sitting next to us that went to jail over our election integrity. This is the day we live in. Every single day on average, there's another person arrested for January 6th. Do you know that? Yes. Every single day, a new person is arrested and charged with all kinds of crimes for either standing on the Capitol grounds or walking through the Capitol on January 6th. Now, going forward, the Democrats...
Now, do you remember when Marjorie Taylor Greene then led a delegation of MAGAs who went to the D.C. jail and played like board games and sang songs with the January 6th insurrectionists? Remember when they did that? Fortunately, Democrats had Jasmine Crockett there. Jasmine Crockett is a real fighter. She speaks from the heart. Now, one of the introductions I had to Congresswoman Crockett was right here when the MAGA sent a delegation to the insurrectionists. And again, corporate media was like normalizing that. They're like, oh, well, Biden this, Biden that, but let's just not talk about how crazy it is that MAGA sent a delegation, which is usually reserved for like sending a delegation to our allies abroad, right? So as Donald Trump attacks our allies, Canada and Mexico, they send delegations to insurrection. So ridiculous. But here's Congresswoman Crockett. Here, play this clip.
But what was interesting was some of the things that are offered. And anyone who's ever had a loved one that's been incarcerated, they understand that this is not the norm. I mean, I don't know what worlds Marjorie Taylor Greene and Boebert and the rest of them are living in. But even in the women's area, I've got my notes that I was reviewing. Art therapy, yoga, acupuncture. I mean, these are things that we can't even find like in my district for my people, like that aren't incarcerated, right? They have these tablets that they have access to. They're able to get on these tablets. I asked to see the tablets. I saw the tablets. There's 2 different types of tablets where they're given access to education. I mean, they went out of their way today to make sure that they provided us with a folder full of all the things that they are offering these January 6 inmates as well as others. They've got a barber shop. There's all kinds of stuff that I've never seen. And I've been practicing law for almost 2 decades.
So let me ask.
Then in terms of these other posts by Marjorie Taylor Greene, it's posts like this. The FBI raided Barron's bedroom, but not Hunter's bedroom. Just think about that. Kash Patel needs to dismantle the FBI and rebuild it. There are people that need to go to jail. Hunter was criminally prosecuted by a Republican special counsel. Donald Trump had his own judge dismiss the case against him, saying special counsels don't exist. Then he had the Supreme Court claim that you can't commit crimes if you're the president, which is the most ridiculous thing, literally upending our system that no one is above the law. You've got Marjorie Taylor Greene making posts like, just finally came out of the turkey coma to see all the Dem hysteria and panic attacks about the great Kash Patel being FBI director. The same people want to keep Chris Wray, who pulled FBI child sex investigators off tracking down pedophiles and had them track down MAGA grandmas that went into the Capitol on January 6th instead. Kash is going to bring a sledgehammer to the FBI. Notice all their language about their cabinet picks. Make them squeal. Bring a sledgehammer, destroy it, burn it down, bring it all down. I mean, there's a lot of criticisms you can have about the FBI. Okay, there's a lot of criticisms you can have about the IRS, the CIA, our military, the amount of money America spends on the military, but putting incompetent people to destroy systems that still are protective of people. Remember when MAGA Republicans would attack like people saying, oh, you want to abolish this? MAGA's the party of abolishing everything, there's something conservative about them. They want to abolish and tear everything down. And then they attack Chris Wray with this like QAnon conspiracy crap. Chris Wray's a lifelong Republican who Donald Trump picked. Chris Wray, the current FBI director, is Trump's FBI director. Trump picked the guy who's been a Republican his whole life. And then they go and say, oh, but he goes after MAGA grandmas. Chris Wray is the FBI director, is a competent person who has the respect of the FBI, unlike Kash Patel, who just sells products and peddles conspiracies. Anyway, hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million together. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.